Okay guys, I'm back, but this time I'm splitting the positive with the normal, everyday, ordinary inverter. And then I have this boost circuit and this boost circuit. But now they have the big caps in them. You know, these boost circuits like this. I'm thinking I'll alter this boost circuit. Get those caps off there and use the coil as a storage mechanism. I'm not sure about that, but it seems like John Bedini was on to something when he and other people made radiant style boosters, or whatever you want to call them. I like to mix my radiant with raw current personally. When I had some big batteries come in one time, I learned that it really works good. And my radiant device was too small, but I mixed raw current with it, and it did make the batteries work better, mixing the two. So it changed the form of energy. So there's a lot you can do, I suppose, with these cheap boost converters. They're only a couple bucks a piece. You ought to try it. But the main thing about these boost converters is that they're simple. And they toggle between two parts, and there's just a little circuit on the back here. I don't know if you can see it. It's just a let me get this pen here for you. See this small 8-leg part right there? There's a small part there, and this is like a transistor, I believe, right there. And these are just, that's a surface mount resistor. So there's very few parts on the back that control this simple functioning toggling mechanism. Is this one, this MOSFET and this MOSFET toggle back and forth through this coil to boost up the, to raise and lower on. And of course this tuning pot controls this circuit right back here. See that circuit back there? The tuning pot is right here, and it controls this circuitry right in here and how quickly it toggles. But the problem is, if you don't have caps as a storage device in the present design, it might lock up on you. But what about taking the idea that John Bedini had, or Tesla, I should say, because John got that from Tesla, taking a coil that's a little longer and maybe multi-filar like this one, but also longer, and put in series or whatever you need to do, maybe just longer, and use that as a storage device instead of these two caps. And these two caps might limit the spikes, because see, the caps are only 35 volts. I don't know if you can see that, but here's the reason that's sort of a tangent I got off on. Okay, in just 20% of battery life, I've used about 500 watt hours, and it's just a little bit I think it's the same, because I have no way of tallying it. I'm getting pretty much the same, but I like it. I'm not sure. I'm just starting this up, and running it. And the thing I like about it is it keeps my battery voltage pumping. So with all this, what you would call boost converter waste, I'm either getting a little more, or I don't know. I'll have to check, do a more accurate accounting, right? But what I thought to do is, as now that I've got it running, and this is kind of in the way, but this thing here, this watt meter, I could give my battery pack a sip, a drink. You don't want your packs to get too low. You're experimenting and you're trying different things, which is very commendable. But say you just didn't want your batteries down real low all the time, and you want to keep testing. So what might be an idea is to take this watt meter and feed the run packs with an external source like solar or just a wall adapter, and bring in a calculable amount of energy with this, and then see if your battery voltages go, you know, might want to only test for one day, for 24 hours, and figure out more accurately your battery life. So that's where I'm at today. And I'm holding it like 15 volts sometimes. It's 14.9. Sometimes it'll read 15, but, and you see my amps there. Now this is the input amps and this is the output voltage, so don't get confused like I was at first. This is 12 volts at that amps, because my differential is on this side. So I was sort of saying things that weren't true in previous videos. That voltage is the output voltage, but that amperage is the input amperage. So don't get confused on that. And then I gotta reach up. Let me get it here. Let me get my tool. See, my amps are getting up there pretty high on that. It's 2.5 or 2.3, and here my amps are, well, that meter, if you recall, I said was a couple of points off. That's 1.5 amps with the fan. Each one has a fan. Now let me get up here and show this to you. See if you can see this while I'm doing it. I can't get it too close. I'm going to reach up here and turn it down. See? Now watch. See me turn it down? Now I've turned it down a little bit. And it's of course going to creep up and down because I don't have any automatic controls. But I'm running about 22 watts intermittent, 24 watts down to 19 or 20 on this inverter, on this light up here. And I'm not using the little inverter, I'm using the big inverter, which takes me an extra half amp or so, especially when the fan comes on. That really gobbles power. So I'm running a calculable amount, see, and I ran for 24 hours and my battery life went down X amount, right? And I'm trying to understand the beginnings of this system. Just thought you should know where I'm at. I want that pot to be connected to that pot is what I want. So when that one goes, well, I don't know what I want. I want this. I want that amperage that stays the same always, and I guess I want to be able to adjust that to stay the same, because I got to keep dialing it down. So that would, what would that be more based on? That would be more based on the voltage over here. So when the voltage drops, and the difference of this voltage, which you can see is 24.3, and this meter reads different. Let me see this other meter for you, show you this other meter. So really I haven't seen them both, but today here it is. Alright, we gotta let that meter come down. It takes a minute to come down on this particular meter. But the 20, it's usually 2 points different. 24.7 here on the boost converter, and then the battery will be like 24.5 or 24.6. That's an accurate meter there. Okay. I don't know what to say about some of these DT9205s. Okay, there's 24 point, approximately a little bit lower than the 24.7. It's always been like a point or two difference. Okay, so my battery life basically went from, and when it's resting, it's showing like 24.6, so like 12.35 and 12.35, which is a 30% battery life I'm sorry, a 70%, and I started about 90%. The percent figure would be calculable at 1680 watt hours in that pack, and then there's another amount there, and I had them all full at the time, so it's more like 25 and I figured all that out and I did the percentages, but I don't have a battery analyzer or anything like that. I'm just sort of familiarizing myself and letting you know that I understand what I need to do. I'm getting the idea, and I'm already taking a little bit more than the other one. The other one is at 12 volts at 1.5 amps, and this one is 12 volts at like over that. So it makes me want to reach up here, and I just fired this back up again, so it hadn't been running long. You're seeing it. Now dial down again. Let me dial down, and it just wants to float right back up, and then I'll go a little bit more. I want it to stay down a little for a few minutes, like that. See it'll normalize lower. It's beginning to charge the battery. On this side, see how the battery came way up? You'll have to roll the film back. It was 1224, and now look at I'm not taking so much out of the charged battery. Now the charged battery is charging up, and now I'm at 24.6, so I had to drop a point, and now this will go down a couple of points eventually. Or it'll actually, after a while, it'll be higher than what you're seeing now. So, because the amperage will go up, that's why, over here. So I'm running 1 amp for now, and this is raising the voltage here. So I need adjustable controls or automatic controls. I have to sit on this every couple hours, and which I enjoy. I mean, I'm just sort of wondering what I'm supposed to be doing here. So I pretty much like the idea of having an open loop system where I can run a generator off this, and I have an open door on charge. I can send some of my external power into it. Even if this doesn't give me a whole lot of extra, it keeps my batteries up, so in that respect it will make my batteries last longer and I'll get more out of them. And I have an open door to put power into them and recirculate it around all these batteries while I run my lens-free generator. Thanks, guys.